So last week on Anabolic Academy, I was asked who I think three bodybuilders will be that will break the top three in the Olympia. And I said, Hadi, Derek, and Samson. And I left out Nick Walker, and that seemed to bother a few people. Well, it seemed to be that I got a little bit of shit for it. But I'm willing to give you my reasons, which is why I'm making this video. Now, I have to explain this one thing. I think this is the problem with most people. I think the majority of people are such fans of certain athletes that they can't separate an unbiased opinion from their emotions getting involved. My two favorite bodybuilders in the IFBB right now is Nick Walker, Samson Dowda. I watch them work out. I watch their YouTube channels. I watch their Instagram. I mean, both of them have been on my show. Samson several times. Nick Walker actually just rebroadcasted a video he was on with Muscle Talk with me and Jason Arns and a few other guys. And it was great. He's funny. He's a great bodybuilder. He's got a great personality. The guy's just a tremendous person overall, right? And a tremendous bodybuilder. Samson, I have this emotional attachment to him because he was the first elite IFBB bodybuilder that said yes to come on my show. And I am like forever grateful for that, right? Because that opened the door for other people to come in. And he's been on twice since then. But if you ask me my unbiased, unemotional opinion about who's going to be Mr. Olympia in 2023 and who's going to be in the top three, then I am going to give you my unemotional, unbiased opinion. Okay? So here is why I left out Nick Walker out of the top three. First, the biggest thing is I've never seen two bodybuilders like Samson Dowda and Derek Lunsford make the amount of gains in the short period of time that they have made. Derek is a special bodybuilder on his own, right? The difference between the 2021 Olympia and the 2022 Olympia is like a different person. I know he was 212, but it doesn't matter because it wasn't just a bigger version of 212 in 2022. Okay, he was a bigger, better version. So let's just look at a couple of shots. Okay, I have two shots of Derek Lunsford, front double by, rear double by. Okay, so here's a rear double by of Derek Lunsford. The left is the 2021 Olympia winner. He was the 212 winner. And the right is the 2022 Olympia where he came in second. And that's another thing. No bodybuilder has ever went from 212 and in their next show came in second in the Olympia. That has never happened. Never, ever, ever happened. And I doubt it will ever happen again. If you look at the picture of him doing the rear double by, not only is he bigger, he's harder, he's more balanced, his hamstrings and quads are better, his lower back is in, his rear double by is much better, his bicep peaks, his front shoulders coming from, you could see them from the back. It looks like a different person. It almost looks like a different person, but his waist did not blow out. It stayed just as small. Now let's look at the front double by. Same thing. I mean, look at the difference just in his arms. Look at the difference in his bicep, triceps in that front double by, how thick his lats are in the, obviously to the right is the Olympia. To the left is the Olympia 212. And his legs and his waist is just as small. So he put on this tremendous amount of muscle, quality muscle, with the same conditioning, but his waist stayed just as small, which gives this amazing, symmetrical, balanced view of this very, very special bodybuilder. Okay. So that's why I have him in the top three. Honestly, I have him winning this year. Now, let's look at Samson. Because Samson's progress is just as impressive, and you could say even more impressive, because the first shot I'm going to show you is 3 weeks out of the 2022 Arnold Classic and 3 weeks out of the 2023 Arnold Classic, a rear lat spread. And everybody knows he won the 2023 Arnold Classic. The difference in 1 year again, was phenomenal. You could see how wide his back is, how his front shoulders, you could see from the back. It's just unbelievable. His lower back is thicker. His hamstrings and glutes are harder and better. Even his calves are big. It's just look how thick and dense his triceps are when he hits that real lat spread. That is really amazing. That's 1 year. Now, let's look at Samson in the Mr. Olympia 2022, which was in December, and then the Arnold Classic in March of 2023. That was 3 months. He had 3 months to do this. Now, look at this. This is just absolutely phenomenal. To the left is the Olympia when he's in the red posing shorts, 2022 Mr. Olympia. And then to the right is the Arnold Classic 2023 Mr. Olympia. Look at the difference in his legs. Look at the difference in his cap shoulders, even his biceps. Look at the difference in his quad. I apologize. His quads, obviously. I said that before. His calves and his midsection, and even the striations in his chest. And his chest is fuller in the Arnold 2023, which led him to a victory. That's 3 months. That's it. And this guy, every contest, makes more and more and more improvements, gets bigger, gets rounder, gets harder, and doesn't blow out his stomach. His stomach is still just as small, just as tight, and his waist is just as tight, and he's a big dude. So he's 5'10", I think, or 5'11" on stage, which gives him this monstrous appearance with just as much muscle as guys like Nick and Derek, and this tremendous V-taper and tremendous X-frame. Now, let's look at a front lat spread from the Arnold 2023 to the Olympia 2022. The Arnold is to the left. I think he's in blue. I think that's blue. And then the Olympia in 2022, that's green. Okay. Again, look at his legs, his calves, his midsection, his shoulders, his chest. Everything is improved. Everything in his improved. And I want to restate, that's 3 months. That's 3 months. That's December to March. December to January, January to February, February to March. That is a 3-month difference. All right. So now we covered Samson and we covered Derek. Now, here is why I think Nick is going to get towards out of the top 3. Okay. Nick is obviously one of the biggest, freakiest, hardest, grainiest bodybuilders ever. But when he goes up against guys like Nick, Samson, and Hadi, his one flaw just screams out, and that is his shape. He does not have the shape that these other guys do. He has a thicker waist, and he doesn't have this tremendous flaring quads like these other guys do. Now, his quads are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But let me bring up a picture of this year's Arnold when he took second. And here is the picture of him in the middle, Andrew Jack to his left, and actually it would be to his right. It's my left, but it would be to his right, and Samson to obviously his left, right? Now, when you compare him to Andrew Jack, he just out-muscles Andrew Jack. He just out-muscles him. He has too much muscle for Andrew to handle. Now, and I've also said, if Andrew puts on 10, 15 pounds of muscle, it's lights out for everybody, because this guy's width and symmetry and X-frame and V-taper is next to none, but he just doesn't have the muscle size that the other guys have. But you put him next to Samson, and Samson's just as big. His leg sweep is fantastic, and his waist is so small that his V-taper and his X-frame is lights out, just lights out. And he's bigger, so he's just, what I mean by bigger, he's 5'10". He's a bigger human being. So when you put all that muscle and conditioning and symmetry on, he just appears like a bigger, better version of Samson once again, all over again at the Arnold 2023, which gave him the win. And he deserved that win. Okay. Now, I'll give every Nick fan, including myself, this. Nick Walker's rear double bi is probably the best double bi in the IFBB today. And you could probably compare his rear double bi to guys like, Phil Heath's rear double bi and Samir Banut's rear double by, right? You could probably compare him to that. His rear double by is phenomenal from his calves all the way up to his forearms. His rear double by is phenomenal. But you don't win contests on one great shot. You have to win on all the shots or the majority of shots. So when you put him up against Samson, he loses against all the front poses. And then he loses a little bit on, poses like his side tricep. Even though he beats Samson on a rear double by, he loses to him on his rear lat spread because Samson's waist is so small and it just looks so much, symmetrically sound. And then he still has the flaring quads, Samson, and his adductors and his hamstrings are incredible, right? So even though Nick comes in second, it's a close second, but you only need 1 point to win. And that's all anybody remembers, right? Now, let's look at Hadi. I think Hadi will be in the top 3, but I don't think Hadi will beat Mr. Olympia this year. My personal opinion is I think it will be Derek 1, okay, and Hadi and Samson battling for 2 and 3. That is my opinion because I think Hadi realizes. Now, if you put up, I'm going to show you some pictures from Hadi in 2021 and Hadi in 2022. So here is, I guess, what you could refer to as a side tricep. So the left, with the green circle showing his abs, is 2021. And you can see that his abs are a hell of a lot more defined. You can see his shoulder and his triceps and his biceps are a hell of a lot more defined and separated. But the reason he didn't get the win in 2021 is Big Ramy showed up really good. And the other guys, these new blood coming in, they weren't where they are today. Derek was in 212. Samson was not the Samson of today. Nick wasn't the Nick of today. And then you had the guys, falling off. You had the guys like Brandon, which you never count out, but he is falling off. You had the guys with William Bonac that was slowly falling off, and that this is what was happening. So the next year, Ramy looked like crap. Hadi was good enough to win. And the new blood pushed all those other guys out, right? So you had Derek, you had Nick, and then Samson came in. What did he come in, 6th or 7th? I don't remember. I believe 6th. I'm not 100% sure. Didn't he lose to Ramy, who came in 5th? Yeah, I think he came in behind Ramy and came in 5th. But to my point, he beats him at the Arnold Classic. And he beats Nick at the Arnold Classic. And here is a Hadi, hands clasped, most muscular. To the left is obviously 2021, where he didn't win, and 2022, where he won. Now, you could see 2021 was a better version. But like I said, the new blood wasn't at the point that they are now. And the older blood, like the Bonacs and the Brandons, they were kind of falling off. And in 2021, Ramy was good enough to win, and he completely fell off in 2022. And Hadi was good enough to win. And he deserved that win because Derek, Nick, and Samson weren't what they are today. I don't think Hadi is going to win the Olympia this year, but I do think he realizes that he had a better version in 2021. And I think he's going to be pushing. And I think his trainer, Hani, yes, his trainer's Hani, and he's Hadi. Got it. I think they realize that. I think they're going to be pushing, but I think the best of Hadi is in his past. I don't think he's going to fall off that much because if you see the progress pics, he's still extremely, extremely, extremely impressive in his progress pics. And he doesn't speak English, but he actually was talking a bunch of crap, and he put up a video of where he was posing, and he put his finger like everybody shut up because I'm coming to win again. And he looked great.
سلام بچه امروز یک شنبه 20 شهریور تقدیم شما
Those are my reasons as to why I think Nick is not going to make the top 3. Now, it is very possible that these guys miss the mark and then Nick slips in the top three, right? Every bodybuilder sooner or later misses the mark, even though Derek has never as of yet. Samson has never as of yet. And you could question Hadi maybe missed the mark a little bit. Now, if Hadi misses the mark a lot, Nick could definitely jump into those top three spots. But I don't think Hadi is that stupid. I don't think his trainer is that stupid. I think they realized that his better version was 2021. So they're going to bring in a crisper, harder look. But he is older. He's 1 year older. He's not making any more gains. Whereas guys like Derek, Samson, and Nick are young and still every year, every contest, making better and better and better gains, right? So if he misses the mark tremendously, then I could see Nick moving up. But I don't think he's going to miss the mark that significantly that he is just knocked out like Ramy was last year. I don't think that's going to happen to him. And let's not forget, you still got Brandon Curry, who still looks great. And you can't count him out. He came in, I believe, 4th last year. Okay. He could also make improvements, even though he's older, and I don't believe he's going to. I think the best version of Brandon is done. But you can never count a guy like that out because his progress specs looks just as good. But the difference with Instagram and on stage is night and day, right? And I just showed you pictures. But seeing these guys in person, it's completely different. I've had Samson Dowda on my show 3 times. And I met him for the first time at the New York Pro. And he is a monster of a human being. I felt like a child. I'll show you the picture. I took a picture with him, me, and his wife. His wife is a lovely human being. And I felt like a little boy next to him. He was such a massive human being. It's so much different when you meet these guys in person and see them posing in person. Like we saw with Derek. When Derek finally made that amazing guest posing last year at the Pittsburgh Pro, and he wasn't even in the Open yet. The year before he was in 212, and everybody went, "What the fuck is that?" And he outshined the rest of the guys doing the guest posing. Anyway, that is my reason. Now, look, like, subscribe, share, leave your comments. Leave your comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me what you think. Tell me I'm right. Give me your opinion. But this is my opinion, and I think my reasoning is valid. I might be wrong. I could be dead wrong. I could have all 3 wrong. But I think my reasoning is valid. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.